My name is LaWanda.
And I'm Michael. We've been members of Raleigh North since 2010.
So recently we've become first-time parents to a baby girl named Anaya Grace.
So we started, started in Raleigh North in 2010, and we actually got married that same year. So when we first joined, we had been engaged for a while. She wasn't ready to commit yet, so we just engaged. So we found out about Raleigh North from her mother, who had been going at 7715. And so once we started going to the new building at 6021, we were like, you know what, let's give it a shot. So we did, and we've enjoyed it ever since. And when we first joined, the first ministry I actually joined was media ministry, and that was back in 2010. And from there, I just kind of fell in love with, working the cameras, editing, and just exploded from there. Like I said, we joined the ministry and immediately got involved. And from there, for me at least, I fell in love with media, and I started my own business by learning what I learned at the church, which has been a profitable business. Of course, we always want more, but I just thank God for where He's taking the business, and I look forward to where He's taking it in the future.
And I joined the usher ministry probably about 6 months after we had been members. And then I ultimately became the leader over the ministry. And so that's something that I've been doing ever since, up until recently when I got pregnant with our daughter. We tried for years to get pregnant after we got married, and it just didn't happen. And so I think a lot of times our flesh wants things to happen in our timing, and we couldn't understand why it wasn't happening. And so we would get in line and we would go up for prayer often. I went up numerous times for that very desire to be pregnant, to be a mother, and it just wasn't happening for us. I mean, there were times when First Lady actually laid hands on my womb, and it happened 2 or 3 times that she laid hands on my womb, and so we would go up to the altar, but it still wasn't happening for us. We believed God, but it just wasn't happening. And so we went up to the altar one particular Sunday, and
so that Sunday we went up to the altar, and Pastor was praying for and prophesying to LaWanda, and he just kept prophesying and praying over her, and then he just kind of stopped, and he turned to me and came over to me, and he ministered to me and kind of prophesied about just me and our role. And from there, I don't know if I still expected it to happen when it happened, but for us, we prayed about it often, we talked about it often, and it was just a difficult time, because even during that time, it was hard to go to family functions, because they're always like, when are you getting pregnant? When are you gonna have kids? So it was just kind of tough to continue to go and answer the same question. Well, we don't know when, God's timing. That was always my answer, at least. So, and it truly was God's timing.
I think when it happened, in that particular season for us, we had kind of stopped thinking about it so much, because it used to literally consume me. I used to always think, when am I going to get pregnant? When am I going to have a baby? When am I going to be able to make Michael a father? And so for me, it was tough, because it would consume my thoughts. And so when it actually happened, when we actually found out that we were pregnant, I for one had stopped thinking about it so much. I had kind of rested in God's timing and rested in trusting Him, and my faith had increased. I think it was that particular prophecy when Pastor spoke to Michael that helped me to get to that place. And so God fulfilled His promise for us. He gave us the desires of our heart. And so when we found out we were pregnant, it was unexpected for me, because we really hadn't been talking about it. We really hadn't been thinking about it. And God did it.
Yeah, and even at that time, before we got pregnant, it was me. I'm a problem solver naturally. So I was like, I have a good job. We have benefits that will cover infertility. It will cover in vitro. It covers all this stuff. Then all these people from my job were coming to me and saying, oh, well, we have this benefit, and I actually use it and it works. So I'm bringing it to LaWanda like, hey, they tried it and it worked for them. Maybe we should try it. But she was never on board with it, ever. So I talked about it for a while, but then I just let it go. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to talk to her about it anymore.
When he would come to me with my benefits cover IVF, or my benefits cover, infertility treatments and things like that, I just believed that God could do it. I believe
Naturally.
that God could do it naturally, and we didn't need that assistance. We didn't need to use those benefits. And so that's why I was so reluctant when he would come to me with that, because I believed God to do what he promised.
Before we found out, the attacks were coming at me heavy. I mean, and it was all mental. The enemy trying to control my mind and make me believe things that weren't true, and almost to a point feel like I was not the man that God called me to be. But of course, the one to pray for me, and I think everything that happened to us leading up to getting pregnant, we're just faith builders. So continuing to just build upon our faith, and even now with the blessing of this baby girl, has increased our faith exponentially.
I think just in keeping the faith in the things that you want, because this doesn't just apply to wanting a child, because God has given us so much more than Anaya. God has given us other things that we desired, and it's because Raleigh North is good ground. And you have to sow into that. You can't deny the fact that the vision that Dr. and Lady Chapman have is a big one, but it's good ground, and you should sow into it.
Yeah, you should. And sowing, of course, your money, but a big thing is sowing your time. Not just being involved, but being committed to helping to push the vision that Pastor and Lady Chapman have forward.